The SATs were over, so I got myself an online boyfriend. He said he was the heir to a Hong Kong fortune. I said I was the last descendant of some forgotten European royalty. He said he went to HKU. I said I went to Harvard. When we voice chatted, I could hear the faint sound of a ship's horn in his background. In mine, you could hear chickens clucking. In his clumsy, heavy Cantonese accent, he'd say, "I'm on my family's yacht." In my authentic Ohio twang, I'd say, "I'm on my family's farm." He burst out laughing. "BB, you sound so cute when you talk." I snorted. "It's called a dialect. You wouldn't get it." 6 months later, he suddenly told me, "BB, I applied for an exchange program between HKU and Harvard. We can meet next semester." "Wait, buddy, you're for real?" "I thought you were lying to me this whole time." The second I submitted my college applications, I fled Boston and went back to my grandma's place. A remote little village in rural Ohio. Until I was 10, I lived with my grandma in that village. I went to the local elementary school and spoke with a thick country accent. After I turned 10, my parents moved back from abroad and settled in Boston. They came and got me, enrolled me in some fancy prep school, and I learned to speak with a perfect East Coast accent. Even though I got used to Boston, that little village was always my comfort zone. I'd run back there any chance I got. This time, when my grandma heard I was staying for a month, she splurged on getting an internet connection installed. And because of that internet connection, I fell in love online. The first time we played a team match together, he was so bad he just kept dying and feeding the other team. I chewed him out in my most authentic Ohio accent. "What in the world are you doing? What are you doing? I told you to play it safe and level up, but you just had to go running in. Do you not understand English or something? Get on voice chat. Right now." He went radio silent. After a long pause, he finally turned on his mic. "Sorry, my English is not good. I don't understand, you're talking. You, standard, American English, can you speak?" It was a clumsy, Cantonese-inflected English. When he got flustered, his words came out all jumbled and made no sense. But his voice was amazing. I was instantly captivated. I cleared my throat and switched to my milder country accent. "What I mean is, I'll cover you." He let out a strange laugh, his voice low and magnetic. Thank you." That was it. I think I was falling in love. And after that? I had him wrapped around my finger. Tim Wilson was a classic online scammer. The kind who preys on young, naive girls. He sent me a photo of some ridiculously handsome guy he found online, insisting it was him. His friends, who we gamed with, all claimed he was some big shot son from Hong Kong, a sophomore at HKU. They said he traveled everywhere in limos, private jets, and mega yachts. On top of that, he had a great voice, was emotionally stable, gentle, patient, had solid values, and was, according to the picture, gorgeous. He was so perfect he didn't seem real. I mean, come on. Who would believe that? So, I started making stuff up, too. I told him I was the last descendant of forgotten European royalty and a freshman at Harvard. I said my ancestors had left me a massive farm estate where I raised chickens, cattle, and geese. He was really committed to the bit, playing along and giving me all the emotional validation I could ask for. "Wow, BB, you're so amazing. BB, you talk so cute. BB, I really like you." And just like that, with him calling me BB over and over, we started dating. I was completely swept off my feet by his sweet talk, and he was totally smitten with me. This fake online romance lasted for over half a year. His English got more and more unusual, with his Cantonese accent slowly morphing into something that sounded vaguely like an Ohio twang. My allowance money also became less and less of an allowance, as the number of zeros in my bank account kept growing. Sometimes I'd get confused. Which one of us was the real scammer here? I kept waiting for him to pull his ultimate move. Like, say he had cancer and needed money urgently. Or maybe his family went bankrupt and he needed money urgently. But nothing. What I got instead, on New Year's Day, was him dropping a huge bomb on me. He told me he was going to be an exchange student at Harvard next semester. We could meet in a month. Oh my God. My heart was about to leap out of my chest. I didn't know if he was telling the truth or not, but the whole thing felt insanely out of control. If it was true, I'd been lying to him this whole time, and I couldn't afford that kind of trouble. If it was fake, there was definitely a bigger trap waiting for me down the line. Besides, I was an extrovert online but a total introvert in real life. I wasn't built for meeting up IRL. I had to nip this in the bud before it spiraled. On New Year's Day, while he was fast asleep, I stayed up all night transferring the money he'd sent me back to him in small batches. Then I typed out a classic heartbreaker message. Tim, my family went bankrupt, and I'm sick. I don't have long to live, and I don't want to hold you back. Let's break up. I wish you all the best. Finally, in one fell swoop, I blocked him on every social media platform. Oh my God. I'm such a player. But seriously, don't knock it. The aftershock of a breakup is no joke. I kept telling myself it was all just for fun. But somewhere along the way, I'd actually developed feelings. For a long time after, Tim would show up in my dreams with red-rimmed eyes, calling me BB over and over again. After the Lunar New Year, I stayed at my grandma's until the day before my semester started, then headed back to Boston. I was in a terrible mood. When I got home, I walked in on my little brother, Caleb, throwing a tantrum at our housekeeper. I dropped my suitcase, rolled up my sleeves, and went straight for the little brat. When Caleb saw me, he screamed like a banshee. The she-devil is back. He ran, I chased. There was no escape. Finally, I pinned him down on the sofa and started swatting his butt with a feather duster. All while letting loose in my thickest country accent. I leave for a bit and you think you own the place, you little punk. Don't move. Don't move. You move again and I'll break your legs. You just can't feel right unless someone's yelling at you, can you? You gonna do it again? Are you? Caleb wailed in his perfect Boston accent. Wah. Your Highness, I won't. I'll never do it again. Ow, my butt is gonna split open. I was right in the middle of a satisfying tirade when I heard my mom trying to intervene. Michelle. Stop it. Mom, don't get involved. He needs to be taught a lesson. Michelle, for heaven's sake, we have a guest. Stop it right now. I froze and instinctively looked over. And there, standing in the doorway, was a striking figure. He was tall, fair-skinned, and handsome. He radiated the kind of effortless grace unique to the wealthy elite. And at that moment, he was watching me with a look of great interest. As my eyes slowly focused on his face, my pupils contracted in shock. My mom grabbed Caleb and me, one in each hand, and walked us to the door. She made the awkward introductions. Tim, let me introduce you. This is my daughter, Michelle, and my son, Caleb. They're always roughhousing like this. Please excuse the scene. Oh, right, Michelle is a year younger than you. She's a freshman at MIT. You're about the same age, and MIT and Harvard are so close. You should have Michelle show you around sometime. Tim listened intently to my mom. When she finished, he turned to me, nodded politely, and smiled. Hi, I'm Tim Wilson. That smooth voice was no longer coming through a phone. It was real, drifting right into my ears. Familiar yet strange. The small mole on the bridge of his nose completely mesmerized me for several seconds. My brain just shut down. I managed a smile that was stiffer than a robot's, while making sure to reply in my most polished, standard American English. Hi, I'm Michelle. Michelle, Tim is the son of your father's friend. He grew up in Hong Kong and is a sophomore at HKU. He's here at Harvard as an exchange student. My dad's words hit my eardrums one by one. A numbness spread through my body. Oh my God. The universe has a twisted sense of humor. My online boyfriend was real. But I was a fake. I told him my name was Daisy, that I was a freshman at Harvard. The photo I sent him was just a shot of my back. When we chatted, I used a thick Ohio twang. And I used a burner account for texting. He shouldn't be able to recognize me. Still, I felt so guilty I couldn't meet Tim's gaze the entire time. At lunch, he sat diagonally across from me. I kept my eyes down, just shoveling food into my mouth. Thankfully, my parents took turns talking to him, so it seemed like he didn't have time to pay attention to me. Until the little brat whispered my nickname. Bean, 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 I want. My head shot up. I quickly glanced at Tim. Sure enough, when he heard the name, he turned to look at me, too. I whipped my head back to Caleb, a fake smile plastered on my face. You want a bean? Big sis will get you some. No, I want the pork. Under my death glare, the little brat sullenly forced out 2 words, the bean. I scooped a huge spoonful of yellow soybeans into his bowl. And went back to my food. In my peripheral vision, I saw a pale, slender hand pick up the serving spoon from the plate in front of me and gently scoop out half a spoonful of soybeans. You could have killed me, and I still wouldn't have looked up. My dad spoke again. Tim, for your major, it seems like MIT has a stronger program. Why didn't you choose MIT back then? My chopsticks froze mid-air. He was silent for 2 seconds, then answered very seriously. Sir, I came here for my girlfriend. The air instantly went still. My mom chuckled nervously. Oh, your girlfriend is from the mainland US? Yes, ma'am. My mom and I were sitting side by side. He looked over in our direction. Out of guilt, I felt like his gaze was a physical weight landing squarely on my face. I kept my eyes down, barely daring to breathe, trying my best to act natural. Wow, long distance is tough. Is your girlfriend at Harvard, too? I'm not sure yet. It's fine, it's fine. I kept eating. My girlfriend and I met online. It's Fian. My girlfriend is from Ohio. Oh, what a coincidence. Your Uncle Lee's family is from Ohio. Michelle grew up there until she was. Clink. Clink. My hand trembled, and my chopsticks fell onto my plate, then rolled onto the floor. Sorry, lost my grip. I cut my dad off. In my panic, I accidentally made eye contact with Tim. He was staring right at me. When he saw me look his way, his eyes curved into a slight smile. I immediately looked away. Michelle, you should take Tim for a walk around the Harvard campus this afternoon. I have plans with a friend this afternoon. The rejection was so fast it earned me an eye roll from my mom. Honestly, this child. Fine. In that case, you two should exchange numbers so you can get in touch later. My mom kept nudging me with her elbow. Reluctantly, I pulled up my QR code. You can just scan me. He was very obedient, taking out his phone and opening his app. Okay. When I was setting his contact permissions, I hesitated, but in the end, I gave him access to my social feed. What a mess. Blocked him on my burner account, only to add him back on my main. Thankfully, I'm lazy and never posted anything on my burner, so there were no connections between the 2 accounts. But I still felt an inexplicable sense of dread. That night, I was tossing and turning in bed. My traitorous thumb had a mind of its own. Before I knew it, I had clicked into Tim's social feed. And then I saw it. A post he had made right at midnight. I shot up in bed. I stared at the screen for what felt like an eternity. An indescribable emotion bloomed in my chest. My ears and cheeks started to burn. He had posted, "BB, I love you so much." The attached picture was the one I had sent him of my back. I covered my hot face with both hands. Suddenly, I remembered I might have posted that same picture on my own feed a long time ago. My heart pounded like a drum. I frantically scrolled through my own posts, swiping up as fast as I could. Finally, on a day from 2 years ago, I found it. I immediately set the post to private. I tried to reassure myself. He wouldn't be bored enough to scroll through my entire history, would he? Probably not. Just in case, I set my feed to be visible for only the last month. That night, I dreamed of Tim again. I had him pushed against a wall, my arms around his neck, kissing him. This time it felt so real it sent shivers down my spine. Once the semester started, I threw myself into classes and club activities. I never contacted Tim. His feed, on the other hand, was updated frequently. Every day, he'd post a declaration of love for his BB. I couldn't quite describe how I felt. It was sweet and thrilling, but also so complicated. After all, I had lied to him and then ghosted him. I didn't have the face to reveal myself. Besides, even if I did, what would happen? He might not even like the real me. It would just be awkward. Forget it. I'll just let this be a lesson for the rich boy about the harsh realities of the world. Until my mom blew up my phone with texts. Michelle, it's been 2 weeks. You brat, you have no manners at all. Tim came to visit yesterday with a gift and spent the whole afternoon playing games with your brother. You will take him out to dinner this week, you hear me? I knew he was going to my house, so I'd intentionally made myself scarce that morning. I procrastinated. Finally, I gritted my teeth and sent him a message. Hey, have time to grab dinner? My treat. He was probably in class, as he didn't reply right away. Slowly, I let my heart settle back into my chest. An hour later, he called me directly on the app. My pathetic heart started to pound. Just as the call was about to end, I cleared my throat and answered. Hello. Hello, Michelle. He said my name softly. After a pause, he asked in a low voice, is it okay if I call you that? His gentle, tender voice came through the phone and struck me right in the heart. For a moment, I felt like I was back in our online romance. When we were at our closest, we would talk on the phone for hours. His past, his life, his sweet nothings, all of it came to me through the airwaves. But he was telling the truth, and I was lying. A wave of melancholy, like a fine thread, wrapped itself around my heart. Is it not okay? His voice sounded strangely dejected. I snapped out of my scattered thoughts. It's fine. Are you free for dinner? Of course, he laughed. I'll come to you, okay? He was waiting for me at the campus gate. He wore cream-colored pants, a white turtleneck, and a camel coat, looking impeccably clean and put together. I couldn't help but stop in my tracks. I stood there, not too close and not too far, secretly admiring him. He was looking down at his phone, a slight smile playing on his lips at something he saw. Just as I was about to walk over, a girl suddenly jumped in front of him, holding up her phone. He seemed startled and took a small step back. I froze. The girl said something, and he listened intently. Then he replied. She was asking for his number, wasn't she? I puffed up my cheeks, feeling a sour pang of jealousy. Suddenly, he looked up and saw me. I didn't have time to look away, and our eyes met directly. I awkwardly deflated my puffer fish face. For some reason, he broke into a wide, happy smile. The setting sun cast a soft golden halo around him. The way he looked at me was so gentle. My heart, right then and there, skipped a beat. The girl turned around, saw me, and walked away with a look of disappointment. I bit my lip and walked quickly toward him. As I passed the girl, she muttered under her breath in frustration. Damn, some people have all the luck. Before I could dwell on it, I was standing in front of him. I tried my best to act casual. Sorry to keep you waiting. What do you feel like eating? Spicy food, is that okay? I glanced at him. I couldn't figure out why he wanted Sichuan food. He couldn't handle spicy food at all. If it was too hot, his lips would swell up. When we were dating online, I used to tease him. You have to learn to eat spicy food. I can't live without it. What are we going to do if we can't even share a meal? And he actually started trying, but without exception, it always ended with his lips red and swollen. Then he would whine pitifully for me to comfort him. My throat's been a little scratchy lately. Can we get something else? He froze for a moment, then his eyes lit up with a smile. Okay, I'll listen to you. His ambiguous words made my face flush. I buried my cheeks in my scarf and said nothing more. That girl just now asked for my number. Huh? I didn't give it to her. Oh. I told her I have a girlfriend. Right. Wait, why are you reporting this to me? I get it. Is he trying to use me to get rid of that girl? Is he afraid I'd be mad? He looked at me with puppy dog eyes. What now? You want praise? I gave him a thumbs up. Nice, very loyal. Your girlfriend should be very happy. He looked like a happy puppy wagging its tail. Yeah. As long as she's happy. Something about this feels weird. I took him to a classic Beijing-style restaurant. Roast duck, shredded pork in sweet bean sauce, pancakes, and noodles with soybean paste, plus a vegetable dish. After we ordered, I noticed he was watching me. I felt a little awkward and had to find something to talk about. Have you tried fermented mung bean milk? Yes. Fermented, mung, bean, milk. He tried so hard to get the pronunciation right, but he just ended up saying each word separately. I couldn't help but chuckle. When we were dating online, my favorite pastime was teaching him English. Sometimes I'd intentionally teach him Ohio slang and listen to him say it with a straight face, which always made me crack up. Almost by reflex, I slowed down my speech to teach him. Here, repeat after me. Mung bean milk. Milk. He watched me, his gaze focused, and copied me earnestly. After a few tries, he was starting to get it. I smiled and praised him, not bad, not bad. He smiled back, his eyes crinkling. My English isn't great. My girlfriend used to teach me. The corners of his eyes crinkled into soft lines. I don't know if it was my imagination, but I felt like the way he was looking at me was full of affection. I looked away and took a sip of my juice. The next moment, he pulled a small, exquisite box out of his pocket and placed it in front of me. A gift for you. I hope you like it. I immediately tried to refuse. No, I can't accept this. His voice was gentle but firm. It's okay. You're treating me to dinner, so I'm giving you a gift. Rich people are just built different, huh? When we were dating online, he was always big on celebrating things. Who gets this? He wanted to celebrate our 39-day anniversary. 39. I really didn't get it. Back then, he kept trying to send me gifts, but I refused to give him my address. I just kept stringing him along. Just save them up. When we finally meet, you can bury me in presents. Since he couldn't send gifts, he started sending me money instead. Honestly, I was pretty scared back then. I was afraid he wasn't the heir to a Hong Kong fortune, but the heir to some scam operation in Southeast Asia. I don't really have any friends here. Can I ask you to dinner often? His eyes were full of hope. He came here because of me. He was in a new place, didn't know anyone, and was struggling to adapt. A wave of guilt so strong it could drown me washed over me. Even if not as a lover, just as a friend, I should be there for him during this time. The desire to avoid him vanished in an instant. I nodded emphatically. Of course. His face broke into a huge smile. Putting aside the fact that I had deceived him. We got along really well. We had the same values, similar interests, and never ran out of things to talk about. We became regular meal buddies, seeing each other 4 or 5 times a week. I introduced him to all sorts of local foods, and sometimes we'd even take a day trip on the weekends. I taught him American English, occasionally throwing in some Boston slang. To show his gratitude, he would bring me a gift every time we met. We texted almost every day, sharing our lives and the little things that happened. And I looked forward to every single meeting. I even had the wild thought of starting a relationship with him as Michelle. Until my birthday. He asked me out to dinner, but I turned him down, saying I had plans. That part wasn't a lie. I didn't want him to know that Daisy and Michelle had the same birthday. I hadn't planned on celebrating, but a few of my childhood friends wanted to get together. We decided to go for a traditional Beijing-style hot pot. After dinner, some people went to the restroom. Sean and I came out of the private room and waited in the main hall. Sean rubbed his hands together, grinning. I'm a little broke right now, so I'll owe you a gift. Next year, I promise I'll get you something big. Sean, you've got some serious nerve. Ryan walked over, laughing, and took the big bag of presents from my hands. Sean teased, come on, Ryan, we all know Michelle is the apple of your eye. Who can compare? Get lost. I aimed a kick at him, but Sean dodged it nimbly. I missed, stumbled, and Ryan grabbed my collar to steady me. He pulled me back up. Stop fooling around. I raised my fist to hit him again. As I did, I glanced up and my eyes met Tim's. I froze on the spot. He was sitting at the table right next to me. He was also out with friends. I slowly straightened up, feeling the guilt and embarrassment of being caught in a lie. I wanted to say hello, or at least hi. He was at the far end of his table, a whole table between us, watching me quietly. His eyelids were slightly lowered, his expression unreadable, and the look in his eyes was distant and cold. Ryan followed my gaze. What's wrong, Michelle? The girl next to Tim looked at me curiously, then gently tugged on his sleeve. He looked down, leaning in slightly toward her. The girl whispered something in his ear. He blinked and gave a small nod. They were so close, their heads almost touching. My heart sank. I looked away. Nothing. Just then, Zoe and the others came out, and she threw an arm around my shoulder. Let's go, next stop. We'll miss curfew if we're too late. Ryan, what are you looking at? That guy looks kinda familiar, holy crap. I quickly clapped a hand over Zoe's mouth and dragged her away. Zoe was the only one who knew about my online romance with Tim. She had seen his picture and knew he was coming as an exchange student. Zoe whispered, is that him? I nodded silently. Zoe was so excited she was practically squeaking. So what's the situation with you two now? I felt a wave of irritation. I don't know. Zoe patted my shoulder. Well, he looked pretty close with that girl next to him. Michelle, don't get in too deep. For the rest of the night, I was completely out of it. It felt like something was stuck in my chest. Heavy and bitter. 2 hours later, we all said our goodbyes in front of the karaoke bar. Ryan and I headed back to campus together. He carried the big bag of birthday presents and walked me to my dorm building. I took the bag and was about to head inside. Michelle, Ryan called out. I turned back. He didn't say anything, just looked at me strangely. I frowned. Yeah? He asked quietly, you like someone, don't you? I felt like I was starting to understand something. After a few seconds of silence, I nodded firmly. Yes. He raised an eyebrow, nodded, and let out a small laugh. Okay. I opened my mouth to say something, but in the end, I didn't. He patted my head and gestured with his chin toward the dorm. Go on up. I'm heading out. I watched him walk away and whispered, I'm sorry. Not long after I got back to my room, I got a call from the dorm manager telling me to come downstairs to pick something up. It was a delicate velvet gift box with a card tucked under the ribbon. Written in elegant script was, "Happy birthday." My heart raced. I quickly asked, "Ma'am, when did he drop this off?" "Right as I was calling you. He just left." The dorm manager teased, "A very handsome young man. I saw him standing under that tree across the street for over an hour. Is he trying to woo you?" I thanked her and sprinted out of the dorm, but he was already gone. I pulled out my phone. No messages from him. I sent him a text. "Thank you for the gift." He replied almost immediately. "Happy birthday." In that moment, I wanted to confess everything. I typed out a long message, my finger hovering over the send button. Suddenly, the image of him and that girl, so close, flashed in my mind, along with the cold look he gave me. My chaotic, racing heart gradually calmed down. I deleted the message, letter by letter, and went back upstairs. After that day, we both tacitly stopped contacting each other. Our last conversation was that happy birthday text. His declarations of love for BB also disappeared from his social feed. He really didn't like me. He just saw me as a meal buddy. And he had finally gotten over BB. He had moved on to another girl. My days passed in a haze. I would often just stare at the mulberry leaf necklace he gave me, lost in thought. Later, Ryan asked me to co-host the university's singing competition with him. I agreed. I thought that keeping busy would stop me from overthinking things. After the competition, Ryan handed me his suit jacket. The air was a bit chilly. I didn't refuse, wrapping it around my shoulders as I headed backstage. To my surprise, my little brother Caleb was there, holding a huge bouquet of flowers. Ryan laughed. "How come I don't get any?" Caleb quickly explained, "Don't get the wrong idea, Ryan. This is from Tim for Michelle, not from me." My head snapped up. "Where is he?" I invited Tim to watch the show with me. He brought a girl with him. They left right after the competition ended. In that instant, my heart plummeted from heaven straight to hell. I was so sad my eyes instantly welled up. I lowered my head and hurried to the dressing room to change. I forced myself to pull my bitter thoughts together before walking out, trying to act as if nothing was wrong. Caleb was clamoring for a late-night snack. With a full face of stage makeup, I took him and Ryan to a nearby skewer place. An hour later, Caleb was finally full. I was about to take him home when I got a voice call from Tim. My heart started its uncontrollable dance again. I stood up, walked to the side, and answered. But it was a cheerful female voice that answered, speaking in the same clumsy Cantonese-inflected English. "Big sister, can you come see my brother? He's dying." I left Caleb with Ryan and rushed to the Charles River Esplanade. Tim was sitting on a bench, and next to him stood the girl from the dinner. He'd been drinking. His pale skin was flushed, and the corners of his eyes were red. The mole on his nose looked like a drop of blood. He was looking up, his gaze fixed on me. The girl bounced up cheerfully and greeted me. "Hi, big sister. I'm Leah Wilson. Tim is my brother." The sour, heavy feeling that had been pressing on my heart vanished in that moment. My eyes widened slightly as I looked at the two of them. There was a definite resemblance in their features. I waved at her. "Hi, I'm Michelle. I just saw you hosting, big sister. You're so pretty." I smiled. "Thanks, you're very pretty too." Leah's mischievous eyes darted between me and her brother. "Big sister, my brother drank a lot. Could you please take care of him? I have to go now." I grabbed her arm, my voice serious. "No. You can't go by yourself. I'll take you home later." "It's fine," she said, pointing to a man standing nearby. "My family's driver will take me home. Bye-bye, big brother and sister." Leah skipped away. I looked at Tim. We hadn't seen each other in 2 weeks. I had missed him so much. I squeezed my palms and took a few steps closer. Are you okay? He looked up at me and slowly shook his head. No. I frowned and moved a little closer. Do you feel sick? Does your head hurt? Do you feel like throwing up? Do you want to go to the hospital? He just kept staring at me, shaking his head again. He raised his hand, and his long index finger tapped his left side, over his heart. It hurts, here. Under the moonlight, his eyes were red, his gaze hazy and full of longing, tinged with a hint of sadness. BB, why don't you like me anymore? That's what he asked. Boom. It felt like I'd been struck by lightning. My heart hammered against my ribs. When did he recognize me? I slowly pressed my lips together. I'm so sad. I wanted to be happy for you, but I found out I can't. Please don't ignore me, okay? His voice was low and sorrowful, slow and slurred from the alcohol. On impulse, I bent down and pressed my lips against his. They were cool and soft, with a faint taste of wine. He froze completely. After a few seconds on his lips, I belatedly felt my cheeks start to burn. I straightened up, but before I could step back, a pair of arms wrapped around my waist. He stood up, pulling me into his arms, his grip slowly tightening. He gently nuzzled his cheek against my neck. I wrapped my arms around his waist in return. He smelled so good. I closed my eyes. Neither of us spoke. The world around us seemed to fall silent. After what felt like a long time, he gently pushed me away. He cupped my face in his hands, his own just inches away, and studied me feature by feature. His eyes were full of tenderness and love. He said in Cantonese, "Wow, BB, you're so beautiful." My face turned completely red. I'm sorry. There were things I had to explain. I didn't mean to lie to you. You were just too perfect. I thought you were scamming me, so to protect myself, I lied. Then, when you said you were coming to Harvard, I freaked out. I was scared you were a con artist, but I was also scared you weren't. I didn't dare to continue, so I just blocked you. I never thought you were actually real. And then, I misunderstood about you and your sister. My voice got quieter and quieter as I spoke. He just looked at me, then took my hand, brought it to his lips, and kissed the back of it. BB, you did the right thing. You have to protect yourself online. It's my fault. I didn't give you enough of a sense of security, and that's why you had those doubts. Leah was just visiting for a few days. I was going to introduce you. I looked at him with pleading eyes. I'm sorry. Will you forgive me? When I saw you with that other guy, I was a little angry. Angry that you didn't acknowledge me. But mostly, I was just jealous. I thought you didn't like me anymore and liked someone else. I was heartbroken. I shook my head vigorously. No. I only like you, really. I can swear on it. He laughed, taking both of my hands in his. He leaned down and touched his forehead to mine. BB, I only like you, too. I bit my lip. When did you figure out it was me? The first moment I saw you. What? The first thing I saw was your back, and I heard your voice. You were speaking with that Ohio accent. The first time we played that game, you talked just like that. It was sweet, and a little fierce. I loved it. He smiled gently. Your silhouette and your voice appeared in my dreams countless times. I was so sure, but I also couldn't believe it. You kept avoiding me. Then, at dinner, Caleb called you Bean. And your social feed had that picture of your back. When I went to look for it again, you had made it private. And then, Caleb secretly got into the European royalty game account and started playing with me. I was furious. Caleb. That little brat. He looked down at me. BB, I always knew it was you. Feeling guilty, I swayed his hands back and forth, trying to be cute with my broken Cantonese. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. His eyes darkened instantly, a hint of passion swirling within them. He bent down, moving closer, his Adam's apple bobbing. BB, I really want to kiss you, but I've been drinking. My ears burned. I blinked, wrapped my arms around his neck, and leaned in. He took the lead, one arm circling my waist, the other cradling the back of my neck, as he gently touched my lips with his. Then, I heard him whisper in Cantonese. BB, I love you so much. We spent all of our free time together. We immediately went public in our respective friend groups. I introduced him to my childhood friends and my roommates. He brought me into his circle. But I absolutely refused to let my parents know about us. He was hurt. BB, am I someone you're ashamed of? I coaxed him, you're so handsome, how could I ever be ashamed of you? He looked down, heartbroken. Ugh, if my parents find out, how am I supposed to spend the night at your apartment anymore? The light bulb went on in his head. His eyes lit up. He bent down, scooped me up, and hurried toward the master bedroom. Then let's not tell them. BB, let's be bad kids together. Wait, that's not what I meant. Tim, it's the middle of the day. Summer arrived as scheduled. He stayed until the very last day, when he had to return to Hong Kong. We were back to a long-distance online relationship. I missed him so much, I even dreamed about him. In my dream, we were being all sweet and cuddly. Suddenly, Caleb's face popped up between us, grinning stupidly. I woke with a start. Caleb's voice was getting clearer and clearer. Michelle Bean. Get up. Then came the sound of a spoon banging on a pot. Clang. 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 I threw off my covers. Caleb yelped and took off running. I leaped out of bed and chased him downstairs. Don't run. Don't you run. I'm gonna kill you. As I rounded the corner at the bottom of the stairs, I crashed into a familiar chest. I looked up sharply. My dear boyfriend was smiling gently at me. He secretly squeezed my fingers and mouthed, BB, I missed you. Then he casually stepped to the side. My mom appeared. Michelle, your dad and I are taking Caleb to his tutoring class. The housekeeper is out grocery shopping. Tidy yourself up and entertain Tim. Tim nodded obediently. Goodbye, Uncle, Auntie, Caleb. My mom hustled the other two out the door. I looked around, making sure the house was empty. I took a running start and leaped into his arms, my legs wrapping around his waist. He caught me securely, leaning against the wall for support, one hand under my thighs, the other around my neck. A deep, passionate kiss. Until. Oh. Michelle, you're being indecent. I'm telling Mom and Dad. I was so scared I nearly jumped out of my skin. Caleb. I'm going to murder you, you little monster. Tim first gently calmed me down, then squatted down. Caleb, how about I buy you the complete set of mecha models? Hee hee, brother-in-law, don't worry, my lips are sealed. Hee hee, you two continue. Hee hee, I'll see myself out. BB, more kisses? I gave him a quick peck on the lips. Let me wash up and change first. Okay. He followed me like a puppy, chatting away. BB, Owen is in town for a few days. Can we take him and his friends out tonight? Owen was his best friend. We had gamed together before. Sure. Turn around, I need to change. He obediently turned around. BB, should we get roast duck? Okay, we can go to that Beijing place. He's here for a few days, we can take him to all the good spots. Okay. I finished getting dressed, bounced in front of him, wrapped my arms around his neck, and pouted. Kiss me, I just brushed my teeth. They're fresh. His ears instantly turned red. It was my first time meeting Owen in person. I was already familiar with his other friends. Later that night, Owen got wasted. He started rambling to me in his clumsy Cantonese-inflected English. You are a good person, not like that bad girl from the game, who hurt Tim. No eating, no drinking water, no sleeping. Only drink. Drank until he was in the hospital. His heart broke. Pop. All shattered. Bad girl. I turned to look at Tim. He had never told me any of this. So that was how he had spent that time. BB, don't be sad. I know you love me, and I love you too. Don't cry, your eyes are all red. He's just exaggerating, it wasn't that bad. He pulled me into a gentle hug and shot a soft rebuke at Owen. Hey. Don't bully my girlfriend. I'm not. I sniffled, peeking out from his embrace to look at Owen. Is there any chance that I'm that bad girl? Life went on, sweet as honey. Half a year later, his exchange program ended. He returned to Hong Kong, finished his degree, and joined his family's business. During our 2.5 years of long distance, I taught myself Cantonese and got into the master's program at HKU. On my graduation day, he surprised me by proposing at a manor on the outskirts of Boston, in front of both our families. It turned out that on the second day we were together, he had told both our parents everything. To make me happy, they had all played along with our secret, sneaking around romance. On a green lawn, under a shower of cherry blossoms. He got down on one knee. His eyes were full of devotion. BB, I love you. I can't describe how much. It feels like it's in my bones, like it's the air I breathe. Every time I look at you, I love you a little more than the second before. My beloved BB, Michelle, will you marry me? I shouted as loud as I could. I will.